All right, NFL fantasy football fans, it's the NFL aficionado fiend here to go over Week 4 fantasy football results compared to my list and my sneaker picks for you and see how we did. So, without further ado, we're going to talk about all the highest scoring guys this week. So, number one overall, remember I use ESPN standard PPR scoring to give point totals of where we stand. So if there's any discretion, that's where we're at. But that's what I use to kind of go over my list and see where people stand. So the number one overall guy was a guy who absolutely played out of his mind Sunday night and actually saved Daddy Jerry from just heartbreak and heart ruin of the week he was going to face in Dallas, and Micah beat up on him. Mr. Dak Prescott finished with 30.96 points. Unbelievable. So number one overall fantasy quarterback in Week 4 is Dak Prescott. Moving on. Here's a guy who ain't done nothing all season, and he was drafted high because everybody thought he was going to be the man. Mr. Ashante Genty finished number one this week overall for points for running backs this week. He finished with a grand total of 33.5 points. Man was absolutely unbelievable. Finally broke out, and fantasy managers can believe in him and hope he goes moving forward. He continues his success. Guy, he was the number one guy across the board at wide receiver. Mr. Puka Nacua for the Rams had an absolute phenomenal game. 13 catches, 170 yards, and a touchdown. He ended up with 36 points for fantasy football this week. So great job, Mr. Puka Nacua. Tight end. Actually, this is a little shocking here. Mr. Dallas Goedert for the Eagles finished as your number one tight end. Strong off of 2 touchdowns he caught. Basically 4 catches, 37 yards, 2 touchdowns. Got him 19.7 parts. Imagine that. As a tight end, you go 4 catches, 37 yards with 2 tubs, and you're the number one fantasy tight end in the league. That's unbelievable. That tells you how bad tight ends are in fantasy football, man. Missed the good old days of Gronk and Kelsey. And yeah, so anyways, just to go over to Ashante Genty, he had 21 carries for 138 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 receptions for 17 yards, and he scored two receiving touchdowns, so a total of 3 touchdowns. So way to go for him. And then Mr. Dak Prescott, he was 31 of 40 for 319 yards with 3 touchdowns, 1 carry for 2 yards, and a rushing touchdown. So a total of 4 touchdowns for Mr. Dak Prescott. All right, moving on. We'll look at kickers next. I don't know why that's not working. All right, kickers next. Mr. Sante is the kicker for the Chicago Bears. He finishes your number one overall kicker with 19 points. He was 4 of 4 on field goals, 2 of 2 from 50 yards plus, and then he was 1 of 1 on extra points. So that was your leading guy there. On kickers, Santos. And then on defense, the Detroit Lions absolutely stumped the Cleveland Browns. So good job on that. They were your top defense. Basically, they finished with 20 points. They only gave up one. Oh, no, they scored a touchdown. They had 2 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery, 3 sacks, 10 points scored against them, and only gave up 249 yards. So Lions, number one defense this week. All right, let's move on and review the list that I put together and see where everybody came out at. Remember, Josh Allen was number 1, Lamar Jackson was number 2, Hurts was 3, Herbert was 4, Williams was 5, and somehow Jaden Daniels showed up on the list even though he was hurt. So Josh Allen gave you 24.86 points. Good enough for a QB7 finish in fantasy football for Week 4. Actually, he played okay. Wasn't a great game. I watched the whole game. Again, a Bills fan here. So, yeah, but the interception was terrible, and he just seemed to be it almost seemed like he was just messing around with the Saints. He wasn't really taking the game serious. So, yep. So, anyways, he finished QB7 for the week. Jackson, he played like ass. Man, I don't know what has happened in the past 2 weeks with Lamar Jackson, but he has just looked absolutely terrible in the pocket, and they have forgotten about Derrick Henry. So he is just playing terrible. Now he's hurt with a hamstring, but he only got you 10.68 points, good enough for QB 26. Hurts had okay game, great in the first half. Don't know what happened in the second half, but he finished. He got his 19.4 for a QB 11 finish. Justin Herbert played like ass. He was still hungover he had jet lag from the flight over and that win against the Broncos. He only gave you 12.5, 2 points, good enough for QB 24. And then Caleb Williams, he forgot how to throw the ball against the Raiders, or Max Crosby just got in it. He heard footsteps. For those of you that remember the old Bruce Smith deal, he's a bad man. He's a bad man. Max Crosby just making plays all over the place. But Williams, after his amazing performance against Dallas, just absolutely tanked this week. He only got you 11.78 points. Good enough for a QB. I must say. Okay, sorry. Herbert was QB 23. Williams was QB 24. He only got 11.78 points. And then Jaden Daniels got a fat goose egg. So, again, don't know how he ended up on the list, knowing that he was going to be out. Okay. Running backs, Mr. Christian McCaffrey. Old man McCaffrey is continuing to rock. He's finished as RB8 with 26.1 points for week 4. Bijan Robinson continues his great season he's having. Again, remember I said I think he's going to end up as the #1 fantasy back in football this year. So those of you that drafted him, congratulations, you're well on your way. He finished RB5 with 28.1 points. Jonathan Taylor, a little bit of an off game. I think the game script kind of went against him there, but he got you 14.6, good enough for RB21. Mr. James Cook continues his fantastic season. He's absolutely killing it. Third straight game with 100 yards rushing and a touchdown. He got you 22.5 points, good enough for a top 10 finish as the RB10 for week 4. Devon A-Chain, man, finally showed up in the deal. He finished with 17.1 points to finish with a RB17 finish in week 4 fantasy football. Then Mr. Saquon Barkley, again, not doing what he did last year, but again, remember, 400-plus touches, knocked 40% off the totals, and that's about what you're going to end up with. He finished with an RB16 at 17.4 points. So a little bit of separation there, but Barkley just not getting it done. He's not being the beast he was last year. Definitely a serviceable running back, top 20 in the NFL. So, if you're a 10-team league and you start 2 running backs and you got flex players, definitely want Saquon Barkley on your team. But I don't think you're going to ride him to a Super Bowl title like you did last year. Again, the guys to me are Robinson, Cook, Taylor, and then McCaffrey for as long as he stays healthy. Get your use out of him, guys. So, anyways, moving on. Again, said this earlier in the video. Puka Nacua was the #1 wide receiver in fantasy football last week, and boy did he deliver with a big 36 points for a wide receiver 1 finish in week 4. So those of you that have him, drafted him, or can trade for him, man, you got a stud. I hope he stays healthy and Stafford stays healthy. I read somewhere earlier this year earlier this week where he's on pace to break every single receiving record, I think, other than touchdowns. But he's on a phenomenal. I think he's got 500 yards in 4 games. I don't know how many catches he's got, but the dude is absolute beast right now and just absolutely killing it. So those of you that took a chance on him and drafted him, good job. I know he didn't go high in my draft at all. I think he went in the 2nd or 3rd round, which is insane. But yeah, 42 catches on the season. So 42 catches, 503 yards. And basically got 1 carry for 52 yards, and he scored 2 touchdowns this year. So unbelievable guy, just unbelievable. All right, Amon St. Brown continued up with his amazing streak he's been on. He got 26 points to finish at wide receiver 4 for week 4. Jackson Smith, man, they had a terrible game down there. I don't know what was going on, but that offense was not in sync like it was the week before. He only got you 13 points this week for a wide receiver 25 finish. Malik Neighbors did get you 4 points, but as we all know, he unfortunately suffered an ACL tear in the game, so that knocked him out. His season is over, so hopefully you guys are scrambling on the waiver wire to get a replacement for him, because I think he was headed towards good things with Jackson Darkstadt in there. And just as a reminder, guys, we all saw on Monday Night Football the terrible injury that the Cheetah suffered, Tyreek Hill. Man, I think it's the end of his career. He's 31 years old. His game is predicated on speed. and I just don't know if that knee is going to come back as bad as it was. And usually it takes 2 full years for you to recover. I mean, yeah, it happened in week 4 this year. So if you give it a year, you can start playing. Start on the physically unable to perform list next year or IR, and then come back sometime in the second half of next year. But it really takes 2 years to really recover from that. So now we're talking an age 33-year-old wide receiver coming off a major knee construction surgery whose game was predicated on speed and quickness. What's going to happen. So hopefully he comes back. We hate injuries that happen, but heart goes out to the cheetah. And again, Neighbors is out. So moving on. Justin Jefferson had a solid game. Wide receiver 8 finished for week 4 with 22.6 points. I'm just really worried about him moving forward because the Vikings have the right tackle's injured now. They did make a trade for Cam Robinson. I don't think he's that great, but that offensive line is disheveled right now, and I don't care who your quarterback is. If you ain't got time to throw the ball, it's over with, So, anyways, moving on. Nico Collins, they went 26-0, but that was a lot predicated on their defense. He got you 11.9 points to do a wide receiver 28 finish. So there's your receivers. Tight ends, man, gosh, I tell you what, trash at the tight end position. But hey, let's check it out. So Trey McBride, he got you 12.2 points to do a tight end number 8 finish. Brock Bowers, horrible game. He got you 9.6 for a tight end 20 finish. Jake Ferguson, again, I've been screaming this guy all year, so I'm kind of happy he showed up. But he got you 17 points for a tight end 5 finish. So those of you that picked him up, hang on to him, had the faith in him, I think he's starting to reward you, especially with the fact with CeeDee Lamb being out, and now Pickens and Ferguson kind of become the combo there. We know how much Dak trusts Ferguson. After that game on Sunday night with Pickens going off the way he did, Dak may transfer a little bit, but Jake scored his first touchdown that night. He scored 2 touchdowns that night, I believe. He scored 1. He had 7 catches for 40 yards. 7 catches for 40 yards and 1 touchdown gets you a top 5 finish. Man, what the hell, dude? Anyways, moving on. Tyler Kraft, he only got you 10.6 for a tight end 15 finish. Now, this dude, for those of you that drafted him or believed in him, because I didn't think he had a quarterback, but Tyler Warren, absolute monster of a game. He got you 18.3 to do a tight end 2 finish. So Tyler Warren is going to be a beast in this league for years to come. Let's just hope the Colts can keep going with a quarterback and Daniel Jones doesn't revert into a pumpkin and he has a Sam Darnold type season. Sam Laporta with the Lions. Man, I just don't know where he fits in the offense. He seems to have lost the mojo that he had his rookie year. He only got you 6.9 for a tight end 24, which is pretty bad, as bad as the tight ends are in the league. So, anyways, moving on to kickers. Mr. Brandon Aubrey, he got you 8 points for a kicker 17 finish. Cameron Dicker got you 5 points for a kicker 24 finish. Matt Prater got you 7 points for a kicker 20 finish. Tyler Luke got you 9 points for a kicker 14 finish. Jason Bates got you 13 points for a number 4 kicker finish. And then Steven Schrader got you 10 points, and he finished at number 9 overall for kickers that week. So that's the kickers. Surprise Aubrey didn't finish higher with that wild scoring game we had on Sunday night. Dicker, man, we talked about that. Prater did okay, but again, I don't think the Bills were really trying that hard that game. So, okay, basically we stalled out in the second and third quarter, did all the damage in the first and the fourth quarter. So, anyways, Luke, we know how bad that Baltimore got beat. I do think Luke is going to move up because I now see Baltimore as a field goal kicking offense, not a touchdown scoring offense. So I think they'll move the ball between the 20s. But then once they get in the 20s, teams will bottle them up, play them a lot tougher. So I see that going there. Again, if you got Jason Bates, man, Detroit, they're running it up ever since that forgotten week 1 game against the Packers. They're just absolutely on a mission and destroying teams right now. I think, honestly, between the Eagles and the Lions right now, I'd take the Lions simply because I think the Lions can score more points than the Eagles, because I don't think the Eagles can do a shootout. I know they've had some games. Yeah, they came back against the Rams, but I think the Rams choked that game away. But I think Detroit is on a mission this year to prove not only what happened last year was injuries, but they also want to prove that, hey, it's Dan Campbell's team. It's not Aaron Glenn. It's not Ben Johnson. The only thing that scares is, I saw a stat, and I saw this last year with Joe Brady, and that no team has ever won a Super Bowl with first-year coordinators at the roles in both offense and defensive position. So basically, you do got 2 new quarters out there in Detroit. So love what they're doing. Dan Campbell, man, you're absolute beast, dude. You've taken Detroit to higher levels than I've seen. We're talking back in the Barry Sanders days when Scott Mitchell, I think, was their quarterback, number 19. I might be wrong about that. Anyways, all right. So defenses, Broncos got you 10 points for a number 6 finish. The Bills got you 7 points for an 11th place finish. The Texans got you 12 for a 5th place finish. Lions, again, said earlier in the video, number 1 with 20 points. The Chargers actually got you. The Chargers did their job. It was the Chargers offense that choked that game away. They got you 8 points, good enough for a 10th place finish. And then this team that was pick 6 that I thought was just absolutely going to dominate, might go off for sacks. They actually finished 31st and got you -5 points. The Green Bay Packers. That defense, I don't know what happened, but that defense went from a Super Bowl contender to now Super Bowl pretender, and I'm starting to worry. Are they even going to get in as well? They might get in as a wild. Well, no, they'll have to get in as a wild card because Detroit's on a roll. So really looking forward to that rematch between Detroit and the Packers and really see what's what, because I think Detroit's going to roll them in Detroit. So, anyways, all right, my sneak picks, man, came up good on one for quarterbacks. I had you Daniel Jones, bust 10.38 points. Sam Darnold, 16.08. So. Not a hit, but definitely wasn't a bust. And then Mr. Bo Nix finished 6th overall this week. Got you 25.74 for those of you that still believe in old Bo Nix. So I take the victory on that one. Running backs, I gave you 3. Derrick Henry, talked about that. I don't know what the Ravens are doing, but you don't pay a guy like that and not give him the ball 20 times a game. I don't care what you're doing. You give Derrick Henry at least 20 touches. If you're rolling, you give him 25, 30. He ain't got that much more mileage in the tank, guys. So, he's 31 years old. At some point, he's going to hit the wall. So ride that pony as long as you can. Ride that thoroughbred as long as you can. But the Ravens got to do something. Went with J.K. Dobbins next. He did have a solid game. But I believe, I have to double check this real quick. He got you 11.5 points. So, again, not great, man. Nothing to write home about. And then Mr. Breece Hall called him. He ended up with 16.1, which was good enough for an RB19 finish, which, again, if you hit in the top 20 in a 10-team league with flex players, not too shabby. So, I'll take the credit on Mr. Breece Hall. So, got you a quarterback that did well and got you a running back that did well. Wide receivers, man, I actually hit on 2 of these guys. So, first one, let's get this out the way. Keon Coleman, absolute bust. 7.5 points. I don't know what they're doing. They're just not really chucking them the ball. They're not really doing a whole lot out there. So I don't know if they're saving them. Kind of like in the Nick Wright theory of, hey, the Chiefs practice during the regular season. Maybe the Bills are doing the same thing. They don't want to show all their hand and show just how dynamic their offense can be with the passing game until we get into January. But, so Keon Coleman a bust, almost to the point where he's, no reason to roster him anymore because he's just not getting any volume. Even the one touchdown went to Kincaid. So, moving on. My one guy, Cortland Sutton, boom. He got you 19.1, good enough for a wide receiver 13 finish. And then those of you that chose to keep riding this train, Mr. Quentin Johnson, I know Herbert didn't have a great game, but Mr. Quentin Johnson got you 23.8 points. So those of you that picked him up off the waiver wire, he's going to be one of those guys that get you to a Super Bowl. Fantasy drafts, I always believe, are, hey, your top 3 picks have to hit, And then you got to be lucky. You got to be good at picking up waiver wire pickups and free agents. And he's one of the ones that kind of snuck under the radar. And he's just absolutely been a beast this season, especially burning them from deep, man. He's just going insane. So he was good enough for a wide receiver 6. So Quentin Johnson. So got 2 wide receivers on my sneak picks. Tight ends, I busted guys. Kincaid, 9.8. Again, tight end 19. That's trash. Mark Andrews got 10 points for 17, and then Zach Ertz 6.1. I didn't even care where he finished because 6.1 is garbage. Kickers, Little got you 8, Buckner got you 12, Folk got you 11. So Buckner, Folk, they were in the top 10. Little, man, I wish he kicked more field goals out there in the deal, but hey, turnovers happen. And then the defenses, Eagles got you 13, and the Bears got you 9. So if you had stuck with the Bears, let's see, hold on here. So the Eagles finished 3rd overall, and the Bears finished, it looks about 8th overall. So, hey, I'll take both those. So got you a good one. Bo Nix, Breece Hall, Courtland Sutton, Quentin Johnson struck out on tight ends. Buckner and Folk on the kickers, and then the Eagles and Bears defense got those guys. So I'll take that victory. So, all right, guys, in my personal league, the 2 leagues I'm playing in my dynasty league, and so in my dynasty league I'm currently 2-2, 4 straight division games to open up. So I'm currently 2-2 in the division. I lost this week, I believe, 27-33. So yeah, wasn't a good run, but hey, the other guy just had better players. And then in my Yahoo PPR league, basically I'm 4-0. I had an absolute blowout between Cook, Irving, and then who else got? I forget who got my other points, but James Cook and Bucky Irvin absolutely just steamrolling for the first 4 games for me. But it looks like I'm going to be out without Bucky Irvin for a while. He's now hurt, probably going on IR. It looks like, which sucks because he's been doing really, really well for me. But yeah, Bucky Irvin, James Cook, and then the Houston defense did very well for me. But I had the biggest win. So currently I'm 4-0 and number 1 in my league in fantasy football. So, but I might be suffering my first loss this week, being that Mr. Bucky Irvin's out, and I've also got CeeDee Lamb out on, with the ankle injury. So we'll see how it goes. So, all right. Really appreciate y'all sticking with the video and watching go over and all this. Let me know how you did. Again, I know it's a late video, guys. It's practically Wednesday now before we release this. However, I just wasn't feeling good yesterday, so that's why the late release is out. So anyways, let me know what you think. Let me know how you did. Let me know how your teams are doing. If anybody wants to invite me into their league, I know it's a little late in the season now, but maybe we start one up. Anybody wants to invite me and play against me, absolutely let me know. We'll figure out how to link up and get that taken care of. So good luck in week 5. We'll be dropping a video come Thursday for the fantasy football deal. Start of the week. Again, Thursday night game. I think San Francisco and the Rams are playing, which is a terrible game. Brock Purdy's already out for that game, for those of you who are Niners fans. And as always, guys, really appreciate it. Thanks for watching the video. Like below. Let me know what comments you have. Let me know if I can improve anything. If y'all want me to talk more in depth about something, let me know how I can improve this, because I really enjoy making these videos, and I love talking about fantasy football and football in general. So it's the NFL aficionado fiend, and I'm out. I'll see you next time.